Okay, I'm about to try to conduct a job interview for the first time in my life. I reached out to David Wensky, a senior software engineer, and he responded to me 3 hours after I reached out. But I'm not actually hiring anybody. And I don't think David Wensky is actually who he says he is. I'm trying to catch someone participating in a criminal scheme. A scheme by which thousands of remote workers are funneling hundreds of millions of dollars from major global companies into the hands of the government of North Korea. Thousands of North Korean citizens are actively funding Kim Jong-un's regime, all by working regular jobs. Jobs in software development, animation, gaming, AI, and crypto, particularly in one kind of role that's become synonymous with the whole operation, IT. And since a UN resolution bans all North Korean nationals from working abroad, they have to do it by pretending to be someone else. I wanted to understand, how does this scheme work? Who are these workers? And how are they getting away with working real jobs without getting caught?
I turn on my camera. Okay, great.
I first heard about this phenomenon on Twitter, where a group of independent researchers has been posting job site profiles, email addresses, and webcam shots of people they suspect to be North Korean IT workers. I reached out to one of these researchers and I didn't hear back, but I found someone else who could explain what was going on.
The IT workers are really just the modern day equivalent of something they've really already been doing for years and years and years.
That's Michael Barnhart, or Barney for short. He's an intelligence expert at DTEX, a company that focuses on detecting cybersecurity threats from inside organizations.
The government of North Korea has always relied on kind of a criminal enterprise, more of a mafia network. Back in the day, they were selling fake pharmaceuticals. They were doing smuggling operations coming out of Japan. This is just another tool in their toolkit to get money to raise it to the top. Granted, this is a slow trickle.
It's a slow trickle because unlike other kinds of North Korean operations like cryptocurrency heists, the IT worker operation makes its money one paycheck at a time. Michael wrote a 60-page report about North Korea's hidden IT workforce, and in it, there's a flowchart of what the entire operation looks like. It starts with faking a new identity. They'll often use stereotypically Western names like Connor Quinn. They'll describe a skill set with a bunch of buzzwords, and they'll doctor a profile picture. With Connor, for example, a reverse image search reveals that they just swapped the face on this Shutterstock image that's also been used for calendars and bestiality erotica ebooks. The profile pictures aren't all quite this ridiculous, but they do all follow a similar formula. Western name, technical skill set, doctored photo. A single worker will often repeat this process over and over again with different personas, like this one worker going as Joe Paul, Paul Jones, Ryan Sims, and then Ryan Sma. Okay, we're gonna get right back to Ryan Sma, but I want to tell you about this video's sponsor. Sponsors are how we can keep covering stories like this one, and as we're covering this story, summer's just getting started. I love traveling during the summer, but I really hate packing for traveling during the summer. I'm always anxious that I'm going to forget one thing or another, and I think one thing that's very easy to forget is how this thing is going to work and how much it's going to cost for it to work while you're traveling abroad. Adding Saily to your travel checklist is like an antidote to that stress. Saily is an eSIM service from the creators of NordVPN. If you go to saily.com/tunnelvision, you can get a 15% discount on a data plan with the code TUNNELVISION. With Saily, you don't have to worry about roaming charges. You don't have to worry about lining up at the airport to get a SIM card. You don't have to worry about a tiny physical SIM card, period. You just have to download the app and then you pick from over 200 countries. It works on both Android and iOS, but if for any reason eSIMs aren't supported on your phone, Saily offers a full refund. Again, that's saily.com/tunnelvision with the code TUNNELVISION to get 15% off. It's a great thing to have when you travel and a great way to support this channel. Okay, let's get back to Ryan Sma and the North Korean IT workers. These fake personas can feel kind of silly, but the identities are often stolen from real people. A reverse image search on this IT worker, for example, shows that they just face swapped themselves onto this very real UC San Diego professor. And this kind of doctoring doesn't stop at online profiles. Workers also doctor official identification documents with stolen identities and make falsified resumes.
The resumes are immaculate. Like, why wouldn't you want to hire them? The stuff that they've done it all, and they've worked at every company.
Workers then send out applications to posts on job sites like LinkedIn, Upwork, and Fiverr, applying to any remote job, no matter the compensation.
We see them all the way down to, hey, I need this sticker made for my website. I need a design. Here's $50. You can do something as small as that, or they're embedded to some Fortune 500 company.
Then comes the job interview. It's at this stage that generative AI tools help applicants answer questions, or even perform a live face swap to match the fake identity on their application.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear you.
Nice, finally.
But this is also where many workers have been caught in the lie.
Can you take your hand and put it like in front of your face? If you don't do it, we'll end the conversation right now.
Either because they can't answer basic questions about where they say they live.
Any suggestions on like, I don't know, where I should be at? Nothing's special here.
Or they can't speak the languages they claim to.
Yeah, if you could introduce yourself in Japanese.
So, okay.
But these tactics are always evolving.
It's a constant chess match. They do research themselves. They are constantly finding out what the public knows so they can always find ways to thwart and evolve their technologies.
If they make it past the interview phase and get hired, then they start work. And they're often highly productive employees. But their goal isn't just to collect paychecks. Sometimes it's also to collect sensitive information that they can then use to extort their employers down the road.
We had one IT worker doing legitimate work. Magically, after he did his great work and was commissioned and left, then this specific facial recognition information started leaking out the same project that he was working on. This was months after he had left. We also have extortion emails from IT workers where they explicitly imply that the information they have may lead on to other hacks in the future.
Watching footage of these calls, I was fascinated. I wanted to have a call like this myself, to be face to face with one of these workers.
If you right now went out and got on any job platform that you want, posing as an employer, I'm looking for a crypto developer, I'm looking for a senior backend developer, give it a few hours, they'll come to you.
Few hours? That's how fast?
Yeah.
I became obsessed with this idea. I set up fake job posts on multiple career websites, and the applications started coming in. But then I stopped. I realized that there was no way to catch a North Korean IT worker by advertising a fake job without wasting the time of real people trying to find a real job. So I switched strategies. And I decided to only target accounts that the researcher collective on Twitter had already identified as possible North Korean workers. And before too long,
I think we got it.
I got a response.
I might turn on my camera.
That'd be great. Hi, how's it going?
Okay, great. It's going well. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you too. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yeah.
I started by asking him where he lived.
Where are you based?
Yeah, from Singapore.
From Singapore. Okay. Are you living there now?
I'm living in Texas.
In Texas? Cool. What part of Texas?
Okay, so developers.
Okay. Did you move for college and then you just stayed in Texas?
Moved to college.
Like you moved for college and you've been in Texas since? Where did you grow up in Singapore?
Yeah.
Okay.
I asked about his work experience.
As you can see in my LinkedIn resume, I've been working in several companies, including some finance and video streaming industries.
So you're just fully freelance right now or looking, what's kind of your situation?
I'm open in marketplaces.
Okay. Sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah, I'm open to new opportunities.
Cool. I didn't see this on your profile, but do you have any like language skills besides English and any other languages you speak?
Sorry, only one language.
You grew up speaking English in Singapore?
Yeah.
Okay. And if we were able to down the line get an office, in Austin, San Antonio, kind of like a work share situation, are you able to work in person down the line at some point? What's kind of your availability to do in-person work?
Yeah, very interesting. So I'm open to possibility of in-person work down the line. I believe that, yeah. But I think remote is more convenient for me.
This call felt unlike anything I had done before.
I'd like to know about your location, yeah.
Totally. I'm based in New York.
And also, in your LinkedIn profile, I saw that you can speak natively in both of English and French. So, do you come from Canada?
I do not come from Canada. I get that a lot, but no, my family's from Europe, which is why I speak French. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, no questions. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Okay. You too, David. Take care.
I kept wondering what was on the other side of that Zoom background. And going back through Michael's report, I found a clue. Michael was able to trace this profile of a worker going by the name Benjamin Martin to this original photo, taken inside an apartment where IT workers were running the operation. There's a security camera in the corner, laundry on a drying rack, and 3 other people, one with chats open on his computer. I wanted to know, what was it like on their side of the screen? These are messages sent between 2 North Korean IT workers in 2023. They were published in Barney's report. They're writing in English. Barney told me that in order to practice their English and to hide any connection to North Korea, sometimes they just aren't allowed to speak Korean on the job at all. They're talking about how they're making their doctored profile pictures and the US time zones that they're working in, and how much money they're making every month. It feels weird to read these DMs, to be inside the chat history of people who are so often depicted in media coverage just like this. I want to understand what this job is actually like. So I went looking for someone from North Korea who could speak to me more freely. I wanted to talk to a defector.
Hello, my name is Hyun-Sung Lee. I'm a North Korean escapee. I left North Korea in October 2014 when I was 29 years old.
Hyun-Sung Lee is a North Korean defector. He now works as an advisor with a nonprofit called the Global Peace Foundation.
So several of my friends actually went to school in Kim-Chek University, and they were also assigned to do work in China.
Kim-Chek University is one of the key institutions training North Korea's IT workers, and those workers are often sent to work in nearby cities in China.
Most North Korean IT workers are in China, right? And then especially the Shenyang city and Dandong and Dalian.
That last one, Dalian, is where Hyun-Sung was living in 2007. And at that time, he was able to see an early version of the IT worker scheme in person.
So I went to their apartment and I saw they are working there, 20 laptops and the computers, desktops in the living room area, and they actually work there.
In those apartments, they're subjected to constant surveillance, unsafe and unsanitary working conditions, excessive work hours, and little freedom of movement.
They work 12 hours, 14 hours per day. I was able to get some, pictures and footage from, other people that I saw their working environments, and technically they are trapped
Every month, these teams of workers are racing to meet revenue quotas, and the government withholds the great majority of their wages. Experts estimate that the average worker keeps less than 20% of their earnings. Hearing all of this painted a very different picture of what's going on here. These workers are doing this not for the money or for any kind of ideology, but out of necessity. They're scammers, but they're also victims. And it turns out they're not doing it alone.
It's been another busy morning for me. I start at 5:30, go straight to my office, which is the next door away from my bedroom. I'm gonna start taking care of my clients. Computer business.
This is Christina Chapman. In March 2020, she got a LinkedIn message from someone asking if she wanted to be the US face of a company that got remote jobs for overseas IT workers. She said yes, and after a few months, she started work. At that point, she was living outside of Minneapolis, and posts to her TikTok account show that she was in a tough place.
I'm classified as homeless in Minnesota. I live in a travel trailer. I don't have running water.
The job changed her life. By January 2023, she was living in this home in a Phoenix suburb. But I'm reading all of this information from an indictment because the actual role that she'd unknowingly signed up for was to be a facilitator. Someone who acts as the in-person representative for North Korean IT workers. They manage any and all types of work that require the employee to be in the US every step of the way. At the application and recruitment stage, facilitators might send verification documents or manage reference checks or even facilitate drug tests. Then during employment, they might interact with customers or employers and provide a domestic mailing address. And then at the payment stage, they would be the one actually transferring money and handling tax forms. There might be different facilitators for each stage, but Chapman was involved at almost every step of employment, including the critical step of running a laptop farm.
My clients are going crazy, so I just got a smoothie bowl.
Each of those laptops in the background is a company computer that a US company shipped to Chapman. Some laptops she shipped directly to workers, mostly in Dongdong, China, but others she kept in her own home, and she would install remote access software so that those workers could use those laptops from wherever they were. Those sticky notes are to label which laptop belongs to which company and to which IT worker. In October 2023, the FBI raided Chapman's laptop farm, and they found more than 90 computers.
49-year-old
Christina Chapman operated laptop farms.
By the end, Chapman had facilitated the payment of over $17 million in paychecks from over 300 US companies, including a national TV network, a major tech company, an aerospace and defense manufacturer, a car manufacturer, a high-end retail chain, and, quote, one of the most recognizable media and entertainment companies in the world, all of which were Fortune 500 companies. And she's not alone. Chapman is just one of several US citizens charged with facilitating North Korean employment scams.
A U.S. citizen in North Carolina is accused of working with North Korea.
And a Nashville man is accused of trying to help North Korea to obtain remote employment with American and British companies.
In February 2025, Chapman pleaded guilty to wire fraud, identity theft, and money laundering. She made in total just under $177,000. And she's facing a maximum sentence of over 9 years in prison. And there's no sign that she ever knew she was working for North Koreans. North Korea is a country that, despite its poverty and isolation, or maybe because of its poverty and isolation, has gotten really good at weaponizing the internet. This particular way of weaponizing the internet has been dubbed the IT worker threat, but the problem goes a lot deeper than just IT. There's evidence that North Korean workers have posed as engineers on construction projects in multiple US states, and even as web designers for a US election campaign site. There are some kinds of jobs in physical infrastructure or in public administration where the infiltration of North Korean workers stops being a problem for just one company at a time and starts being a problem for everybody. The North Korean IT worker scheme only works because of how we do work on the internet right now. It takes advantage of how many companies will hire and how many people will work without asking too many questions. Maybe it's time we start asking some. Hey, thank you so much for watching. I only covered one very specific story out of North Korea, but if you want to dive even deeper on the country, I would highly recommend that you check out this video over on Johnny Harris's channel. I'm going to link it in the description. It is a sweeping analysis of North Korea from all of the open source data that we have about the country. It has a lot of satellite imagery and rare archival and expert interviews. It's a really great complement to this piece if you're itching to know more. This has been episode 8 of Tunnel Vision, a show where we tell stories about how we find answers on the internet. Okay, I'll see you next time.